All right, we're going to get started and welcome our first team to the stage. Please put your hands together for kickoff.
Hi judges, my name is Jace Bennett.
I'm Ashwin Jandhiala.
I'm Maddie Chang.
I'm Akshay Kakad.
And I'm Nick Masad.
And we are Kickoff. Before we start this presentation, I want to give you a little backstory. This is my sister, Presley Bennett. She plays basketball at Texas State and competes at the Division I level. As you can see, she has a very busy schedule, and this is just in her off-season. As you can see, she starts class at 10 o'clock, has practice and training from 1 to 6, and spends her evenings studying and doing homework. Collegiate athletes like Presley devote their entire careers to perfecting their art and their sports, and they will see little compensation for their hard work and dedication. To put it into context, there are typically only 5 Division I sports that offer full-ride scholarships. They are basketball, football, tennis, volleyball, and gymnastics. Now, if you play any of the other 19 sports or compete at the Division II or III level, you're either receiving very limited amount of funding or no money at all. However, there's one caveat. You might have heard recently the term called NIL. It stands for name, image, and likeness. And you've probably heard of it because as of last July, the NCAA has allowed college athletes to finally benefit from their brand. Now, because this is a fairly new industry, the only athletes that are taking advantage of this are the ones that receive the most media coverage. But we don't think it should stop there. Imagine if underrepresented sports or female athletes can have the same advantages as their counterparts.
This is why we created Kickoff, an online platform that connects local businesses to student athletes to create meaningful sponsorships. Kickoff allows athletes to start to build their brand early on and gives them access to a wide range of local businesses. It also gives businesses the unique opportunity to have their hometown hero advertise for them. Kickoff works off the idea of micro-influencers. Micro-influencers, like athletes, have a smaller reach, but despite this smaller reach, they often can appear more genuine and allow businesses to target specific locations. Because of this, they are effectively more cost-efficient. For our MVP, we programmed a fully functional app that works across both iOS and Android. Throughout the process of creating our app, we gave it to many businesses and athletes and received extremely positive feedback about our user interface. Our app is currently published to the testing portion of the Apple App Store, and we're in the process of onboarding users as we speak. I'm now going to walk you through some of our app's functionality. First, users sign in and provide basic information. Then there's a dashboard where users can view ongoing and upcoming sponsorships, as well as launch targeted campaigns. We have a search feature where users can search and filter for different potential partners based on location. Our For You page that uses our location-based algorithm to recommend potential partners. A messaging system to help facilitate in-app communication between businesses and athletes. And finally, a profile page where you can view businesses can view athletes' Instagram pages and highlights.
Throughout our MVP, we've been able to contact many local businesses, such as Westlake businesses and Austin-based businesses. As well as that, we've been able to contact many high school athletes and college athletes who've been wanting to participate in our MVP. These businesses and athletes represent a diverse array of industries and sports, and we are currently working to onboard them onto our app. One of our major goals is to facilitate as many sponsorships as possible, and that all starts with creating this sponsorship here with Kendra Scott and the 2021 national champion UT women's rowing team. Now, to give you a little bit of a background, Kendra Scott is an Austin-based jewelry company that prides themselves in giving back to women in the community. So when they heard about Kickoff, they thought it was a great idea because it could help increase their image and grow their brand. We are working really hard to facilitate this sponsorship, and hopefully we can make a connection that can last for years to come. I want to highlight another sponsorship that we were able to create. Chinook Eatery is a Texas-based sunflower seed company, and we were able to connect them with Camille Corona, the third baseman for the UT women's softball team. Now, we had the ability to meet the founder of Chinook Eatery, Mark Pettyjohn, who is here with us tonight. When we met Mark, he gave us a certain criteria that he wanted in the athlete and the sport, and that's how we came up with Camille Corona. Because sunflower seeds and softball go hand in hand together, that's why she was the best person for the sponsorship. Right now, Mark has sent Camille the necessary materials, meaning sunflower seeds, so that she could create 2 Instagram posts to post on her Instagram to promote Chinook. Chinook has worked with athletes in the past, but whenever we presented kickoff to them, they thought it was a great way to streamline the process of sponsorships. Throughout our MVP, we've been able to research some of our competitors. Our competitors include open sponsorship, open doors, and of course, traditional agents. Now, since NIL is still a newer industry, there aren't that many competitors. But some of the unique things that we have over them is that we allow high school athletes to create a profile on our app, and we allow location-based algorithm. We have a location-based algorithm. Now, I want to touch on the location-based algorithm a little bit more. So, for example, if I was an athlete at the University of Texas and I logged onto the Kickoff app, I would be able to find businesses in that UT campus area or in the Austin area. So what it does is it connects athletes in one location to businesses in another location. Now, this is super important because these athletes have a sphere of influence and are very trusted figures in their community, which is why businesses can use this to advertise to their community, which has a greater outreach than mass marketing.
Recently, our team has been working to acquire more customers in Austin. We set up a meeting with the founders of FlexATX, a local news and media source that covers high school sports with over 27,000 followers on Instagram. They also run The Horn and other local radio stations, and they agreed to promote our app on their platforms before our official launch. We plan to acquire athletes through athlete recruitment sites like Max Preps and Huddle. Through these athlete recruitment sites, they contain ads, and we want to use the advertisements there to promote our company. In addition, we want to reward athletes who find success on our app with a unique referral code. They can use this code and share it with their friends and earn a commission for it. Kickoff services 3 different markets: high school athletes, college athletes, and businesses. However, since high school athletes can't make money due to state-sanctioned rules, we don't charge them anything to be on the platform. So our paying customers make up about 1.8 billion users.
We have 3 main sources of revenue. First, athletes pay $2 a month to be on our app, have access to the businesses, and promote their brand. Second, businesses pay $15 a month to have access to the athletes, to message them, and to do campaigns. And finally, as we found out that traditional agents usually take about 15 to 20% of each sponsorship, we competitively priced our finder's fee at about 10%. After careful calculations of our revenue model, we found that in the first year we'll make around $8,000, $22,000 in the second year, and about $120,000 in the third year. This makes our gross revenue just around $163,000, and because our service is an app, we have little to no COGS, as well as, and after accounting for our SG&A, our net profit ends at about $150,000. With your help, Kickoff could be a pioneering force in the new NIL industry. We asked for $1,500 to drawing up a basic contract that will be provided upon using our app, $6,000 to marketing on the aforementioned sites such as Huddle and Max Preps, $4,500 to cover the cost of some sponsorships during beta testing, and $3,000 for redesigning the look and function of our app, such as integrating direct payment. We are also passionate about this, and as Mark says, we have identified a tremendous opportunity in the rapidly growing NIL space. We are in position to help so many college athletes, and with your investment, we could really kick off. Thank you.
I have a question. You talked about 1.7 million businesses. Is that nationally, locally? What does that figure represent?
That's across the U.S. So there are 40 million small businesses, and the 1.8 million small businesses come from the amount of businesses that make between $50,000 and $100,000 per year annually. And the reason why we chose this number is because we found that businesses tend to spend between 7 to 8% on advertising.
Okay, and a follow-up question, Jack, because I thought it was national. Thanks for clarifying that. So how do you, as part of your plan, how do you imagine reaching out and getting, some subset of those, ideally all of them, on your platform? Is that telesales? How do you imagine populating that piece of your platform?
I can take this. So we have a couple different options here. One way we're reaching out to businesses is we're going to hire sales reps, and they generally take around 20 to 30% of commissions based on how much we make off the businesses we attract. So we're going to pay them $100 per business, and that's per business that they acquire for our app, and that's where part of the $6,000 in advertising is going to. As far as athletes go, like Maddie mentioned earlier, we're going to market through sports platforms and also use that referral code to attract more athletes.
And then thank you for that. And then maybe just a follow-up question. On the flip side, how do you add the 35,000 new athletes a year to your platform?
So
sorry, go ahead.
So like we mentioned before, we are working closely with different news outlets in the Austin area right now. That includes the Horn and the Austin Radio Network. And one of our long-term goals is to slowly expand out of the Austin area, hitting places like San Marcos, Texas State, going to Houston and Dallas. And our plan is to use similar tactics in there where we get close with news and radio stations to help spread the word for athletes and businesses to join.
As well as that, we've been thinking about contacting coaches. For example, the UT swimming coach, we would want to contact them and set up a meeting with all of the players and see if any of them are interested in working with us to get them sponsorships, of course.
Great job. I love the fact that you're focusing on the NIL space. That's, it's a huge white space right now, and there's a lot of creative things that are going to happen in that space. So I applaud you. And I also actually love the fact that you're focused on micro-influencers. A lot of people really do care about that authentic voice. But what I want to focus a little bit on my question, a little bit deeper, are the businesses that you're focused on. And tell us a little bit about the characteristics of some of the business that might want to choose you first. Who are those early adopters? Tell us a little more about what those, what the pain is the most that would be so urgent that they would now be the first to sign up. Have you given that some thought?
Yeah. So a couple examples here in Westlake. There's this coffee shop just down the road called Try On. Now Try On is fairly small, but they're known across Westlake. Outside of Westlake, though, they are nobody. And they probably want to expand a little bit. But they don't have any crazy money to launch big televised ads. So by using a couple Westlake athletes, we already have one we're planning to pair them with, this Westlake athlete can reach out for them, as it's not too expensive for them, and it's genuine and that's authentic for those type of businesses who don't have the crazy money to run telemarketer ads and all that, but they can do this.
To add on to that, we're focusing on both hyper-local and semi-local businesses. And these businesses are businesses that want to grow their name in the community and engage in the community. And then, in turn, the community will provide them business.
Who would not be an early adopter?
Chick-fil-A. That's an example. That's right over here.
Good,
they're a huge
good
chain.
response. Yeah.
Here we go. Hi, y'all. Amazing job. Really great, strong pitch. I love that we got to hear from all of you. Really impressive. And also, your slide deck was really great. I loved all the movement that went on. So I want to touch on what you spoke to about female athletes and diverse athletes and in some of these other smaller schools. So you mentioned the story of your sister, and I want to hear about the inspiration behind that, maybe beyond your sister, and if y'all have met any other athletes who are potentially in college and struggling financially, and if you've seen this business case and seen that they would be interested in being involved, if you have a couple of other of those stories.
Yeah, for sure. So what really inspired us is we've heard all the news and the grades for NIL, they're the new deals. But when you hear about this, it's all about the football teams, the basketball teams of all these big powerhouse schools. And we were doing some more research as a team, and we found out there are plenty of other smaller athletes with smaller reaches, right? But still enough to be useful advertisers. And we thought it'd be a great way to get them in the loop. Because right now, there's no real other option for them to do so. And so Camille, for example, the UT softball player that we paired with Chinook, she has several thousand followers, that loyal friends that would totally, if she posted buy Chinook seeds, then her friends would do that. And it's, one, cost effective for the business, and two, it gets to a real niche group of individuals in the area that they can sell to.
And on a more personal note, all of us are either student athletes or really close friends with student athletes, so we've witnessed firsthand the amount of effort and dedication that these athletes put into their sport. And oftentimes, they don't get any compensation whatsoever, any recognition, and we really think that's a big problem that needs to be solved.
And I think it's important to note that sometimes these smaller athletes have the ability to make change. So last year during March Madness, there was this female NCAA women's basketball player named Sedona Prince. She played for the University of Oregon, and she was able to point out the differences between the men's March Madness and the women's March Madness. And in 1 year, she was able to make change so that the women got a weight room to practice with and an actual stadium to practice in.
I love this. Thank you all for amplifying those voices and working hard for those athletes. Great job.
All right, thank you so much, Kickoff.
Return to the Mac, get what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit me.